If you're looking for an extraordinary dining experience, look no further than Chandler's Restaurant at the Yankee Candle Village in South Deerfield. And here to make a delicious dish off the Chandler's menu is official Mass Appeal chef Greg Monette.
Hey,
Greg,
Seth.
thank you so much for stopping by today. So we're making pierogies?
We are making pierogi.
Pierogi, it's a Polish dish, right?
It is, yes.
And you make it at Chandler's. It looks great, but I want to know how we make it.
Well, I make it at Chandler's rarely, and it's kind of silly because I've been eating pierogi for 45 years. I have mostly Polish heritage, and so I decided to do a show for my grandmother and all my Polish relatives.
Perfect.
And hopefully I don't get criticized too much from the Polish population in Western Mass.
Well, whenever you make a dish that your grandmother used to make, you're gonna get razzed a little bit.
Of course.
But let's make Grandma proud. We can do that today.
Well, the other thing too is if you notice the shape of these, these aren't your typical half moon shaped pierogies. I was in the kitchen with my wife and I said, it's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a square pierogi or a cube pierogi, and she just looked at me like I'm stupid. Which I usually
a visionary.
am, right?
Yeah,
we'll go with visionary.
Yeah, I think you're brilliant. So,
but your basic pierogi ingredients are a lot of times you'll see potato and cheese or just cheese. The cheese is usually a farmer's cheese, which you can find in any grocery store. Okay. It's really just a quick. It's just a fast cheese that anybody can make at home for themselves as well, which is just milk, like queso fresco, or
so it's like a quick,
even like
fresh
a ricotta.
cheese. All right.
Yep. Nice. But you have some cold mashed potatoes, some sautéed onion, and some farmer's cheese. That's going to be our filling, and then I'm going to work on the dough. But let me. I find like a light filling is the best way to do it.
Okay.
And one way, if you're going to use mashed potatoes, you're going to use cold mashed potatoes.
And this is a ricer that we're putting them into right now.
This is
that correct?
Yep, food mill or ricer. And technique here is really just kind of
you're mashing it up,
just
and that's
grind it through.
Not pureeing it. It's like a shredder almost.
Exactly. Well, it's gonna you're grating it through the discs, and so you can kind of go with that.
Okay.
Once you get it all through or most of it through, throw in sautéed onions and the farmer's cheese.
If I'm not getting a lot, can I plop some? There we go.
Exactly.
Now
you can use a spoon
I'm coming
too,
again.
if you
Oh,
want.
okay.
But it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the dough really is it's just flour. And I use eggs. So for this recipe, it's 3 cups of flour, 3 eggs, and then we've got some
cream cheese.
We got some sour cream.
Not bad. And are we gonna whip it all together? Make scrambled eggs out of those eggs?
Sorta.
Okay.
We're gonna incorporate them, and then we're gonna add them to the flour to make our dough. While you're adding the rest of the ingredients to the
Okay, so I'm putting the onions in and the farmer's cheese.
Of course.
All right.
So I have a whisk here.
It's like a fun family recipe that you can make at home with the kids. Or once in a blue moon, get it at Chandler's.
Exactly.
But you have for Valentine's Day on the way.
Oh, we do, and that's a huge night for us. We've been voted the most romantic restaurant in Western Mass, and by the Valley Advocate readers. And so, we try to live up to that every Valentine's Day and really throughout the year. We have a lot of wedding proposals, and then people come back and have their weddings there as well.
That's nice.
And so it's a treat for us when we know they proposed there. The bride said yes.
That's important.
Yes.
It's very important.
And then
have you ever gotten one where they say no?
No, of course not. It's Chandler's.
That's true. Everyone says yes when you're at Chandler's.
Win-win all the time.
And you have a really nice wine collection too, because Valentine's Day, if you're going out, it's the time of the year where people want to buy a nice bottle of wine. But you have them all up and down the price range too.
Exactly, we do. And we just submitted our new wine list to the Wine Spectator, and so we're awaiting our win again there for Award of Excellence.
Nice.
But what we try to do is, really with our training and staff, make all the wines approachable and accessible to anyone. And so the staff is very knowledgeable, and they'll kind of walk you through, talk you through like what wines pair with what foods, and
that's important.
Whether it be an appetizer or even dessert.
Because for someone like me, I want to go out and get a nice bottle of wine every once in a while. I couldn't tell you the first thing about wine though. So if I can be led to a destination and to a bottle that's going to suit what I want, that makes it all worthwhile.
Right.
So I've mixed up the potatoes, the onions, and the farmer's cheese.
Yep. So you have made the filling, and if you want, you can add a little salt, pepper. Right. There's a little bit of salt there. There was pepper in the mashed potatoes already.
Perfect.
What I'm doing here is I'm going to do this really quick, just to show you that all you need to do is kind of wet the flour and the baking soda and the salt.
So baking soda, salt, flour,
Yep.
sour cream,
Sour cream and eggs.
3 eggs. All right.
Yep. The recipe is posted online too. So.
Perfect.
And I think I said baking soda. It's actually baking powder.
Dude, is there really a difference between baking soda and baking powder?
Oh my God, you asked me that?
I don't even know
There
the
is,
difference. Okay,
yes.
well there is, but we don't know it maybe?
Baking powder has one more ingredient in it, and I can't remember what it is.
I can't either, so it makes
But they
us
both
even.
have baking soda in it.
Gotcha, okay. And they're both, yeah, they make stuff rise. I don't even know what they do, but I know it works. So we got our filling, we've got this, and now how do
That's
we
the
put them
filling.
together?
So this is the dough. You know, I could spend 5 minutes kneading it.
Mm-hmm.
When you do knead it, actually, it's it's a little sticky.
Yeah.
And but just sprinkle on a little more flour. But it's a nice. If you can feel this right now, actually, it's light.
Huh, it's like a little lighter than a pizza dough, I think.
Exactly. So we'll move that to the side.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna. What I would do normally at the restaurant, if we're making hundreds of these at a time, which we are this week for the Jimmy Fund. Actually, it's coming up on Friday at Chez Joseph. We'll be serving these with pork belly, a dish we'll be preparing after we assemble a few of them actually. So really it's just quick little cut. You can make them any size you want. Just remember that when you're cooking them, if it's big, if it's thick, they'll have to cook a little bit longer. You put just a little bit of dollop on the inside.
Well, Greg, you want to fold those up and then we'll come back in a little bit and show off the final product?
Sure.
All right, well, hey, don't you go anywhere. We're going to be back in a little bit to finish up this dish.